Well.
You want, I could start now. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a great announcement. Today, we celebrate and honor our city's parks in naming a stellar and committed leadership team. Sue Donoghue as our new Parks Commissioner and Iris Rodriguez-Rosa as our new first Deputy Commissioner for the Parks Department. I want to just take a quick moment to make some acknowledgments before we start. First, he's not with us today, but I want to give a deep gratitude to our current Acting Commissioner, Leanne Kavanaugh, to some members of the Parks Department that are with us here today, Mark Folk, our Chief Operating Officer, raises his hand. Our Brooklyn Borough Commissioner, Martin Marr. Big round of applause there. Therese Braddock, our Parks Deputy Commissioner. Thank you. And our Executive Director for New Yorkers for Parks, Adam Ganser, who's also right behind me. Great. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to just take a moment. Sue and Iris are both lifelong park users, lovers, and investors. They've invested and dedicated years of their life to ensuring our parks grow and flourish, and under their leadership, this work will only amplify. And this is vital for all New Yorkers, because all New Yorkers need community green space, and today many of them do not have it. But that will assuredly change under the leadership of both Sue and Iris. And I know personally, I depend on my local park and tree-lined avenues for my own mental health. It's an escape, a place for physical activity, and it's a place for community building. And it's now my deep honor to introduce our mayor, Eric Adams, but I realized this morning he has another job. I've spent some time lately trying to define what a green job is, and I realized that it's just what our mayor practices and preaches. Just last week, we announced a climate team. This week, we're announcing strong parks leadership, and we all know about the plant-based diet. So it's my pleasure to turn the mic over to our green mayor, Eric Adams.
Thanks so much, Deputy Mayor. Real pleasure, and I'm happy to be joined by our controller and councilman. This is a great opportunity for what we are attempting to do to move this important agenda. Park spaces the spaces are everything to all of us. You know, I remember COVID, how many times I walked in Brooklyn Bridge Park, spending time in Prospect Park. I remember my mother passed away. I used to sit down at the lake in Prospect Park. It's more than just green space. It is a place where we're able to just really find ourselves during some difficult moments and how to bring families together. And so the announcement today of bringing together two people I have a great deal of respect for. Sue and I have worked so much together in Prospect Park, and Iris is just a real hero up in the Bronx. Iris, people were calling me over and over again, telling me to please keep her in the Bronx and keep her as the Bronx Park person. And I kept telling them no. Little did they know I had a bigger plan. It was time for you to come citywide and bring that magic that you brought. And this is our opportunity to do so. You know, today we wanted to be outdoors, but these park experts would tell you Mother Nature controls what happens outdoors and indoors. And parks are not a luxury, it's a necessity. And far too long, we've used the spaces as a luxury and believe that some parts of the city did not deserve a quality park in their neighborhood. And I saw that with Sue. When Sue was at Prospect Park Alliance, she made sure the entire park was covered in the build-out, in the bike spaces, and just the quality. It is unprecedented when you look at how Prospect Park was prior to Sue's arrival, and then you go and look York now, how she has opened the gates, opened the space, and opened the lives of so many people that use the park. We're the densest city in the country, and parks are our backyards where we go to play and communicate and help us with physical, mental, and emotional health and part of the healing process. We saw that during COVID, how crucial parks play. And for working class New Yorkers, it's the great equalizer. It doesn't matter what you do professionally. You could go to a park and you learn and communicate with your residents. And it's really, we look at the parks and green spaces, but it's across pollination. You know, this is how we learn from each other, and it compels us to take down those barriers and walls and communicate in a real way. But park equity is at the heart of this, and Sue understands, she knows what I feel about park equity, and this is something Iris has done. I thought, you know, I said if I can just get one of them, I would just be, you know, happy to be able to recruit one of them and come on board, and I got you both. So I am really happy I'm able to do that as we move forward in our city and restoring park areas, making sure that we all can have beautiful places, building new points of easy access, bike lanes, walk paths towards parks, and just rethinking about how we use our parks and use it in the right place. Opening open spaces, and we have dozens of open spaces that are underutilized, and helping New Yorkers, even those with physical impairments, to be able to enjoy our parks and have better amenities that's inside. And so I am really happy about this announcement. These are two women that I respect. They are a dynamic duo, and they are going to bring our parks to a new level in the city. And so it is really my pleasure to bring on my new park commissioner, Sue Donoghue. Sue?
Thank you, Mayor Adams. I am thrilled and humbled to be taking on this new role as Parks Commissioner, and I'm so pleased to be joining your administration, an administration that understands the important role that parks have to play in the health and well-being of all New Yorkers. I'm excited and want to thank Deputy Mayor Joshi for her leadership. I'm excited to join your team, and I am so pleased that parks will be part of your portfolio and operations so that we'll be able to collaborate with these critical agencies and be able to get stuff done. I am also so happy today to welcome Iris Rodriguez-Rosa to the senior leadership team at Parks. She's had a stellar career already, as the mayor noted, and I can't wait to work in partnership with her to move the agency forward. She cares about the same things I do. She cares about the people of parks, those 6,000 plus essential workers who work so valiantly every day to make our parks clean and green and safe. Like me, she also cares so much about the community and about ensuring that all parks across the city are accessible, well-maintained, and welcoming to all. As the mayor knows, having clean, safe access to parks for all New Yorkers is critical. Our parks function as the lungs of the city. They clean our air. They help to lower air temperatures. They absorb stormwater and have a critical role to play in addressing issues of climate change. But they also are, for many New Yorkers, where they first learn to ride a bike or throw a ball or have access to the wonder of nature and trees. And they're places for exercise and family reunions. And as such, they are critical to the health and well-being of the city and to building community. The last 2 years, as the mayor said, have shown just how important parks are all across the city. They've served as havens for all of us, for people to meet outside and gather with friends and family when other places didn't feel safe. Frederick Law Olmsted, the great landscape architect and designer, described parks as giving people a sense of enlarged freedom. How much did we all need to have that sense of enlarged freedom these past 2 years? And Parks affords that for all of us. I want to thank Mayor Adams for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to working with Iris and to the Deputy Mayor and to the elected officials here with us today to continue to help ensure safe and equitable access to parks for all New Yorkers. Thanks so much.
And as mentioned, really just so many calls for Iris Rodriguez-Rosa just calling, and really they wanted to hold on to you so much in the Bronx, And I told them there's a cost to being the boss. I'm bringing my best talent forward. And bringing Iris out of the Bronx, it's going to take the talents that she has shown in the Bronx and bring it to the entire city. We're excited about this. We're excited about just uplifting those Latino communities that see the talent that is often stifled. And basically, you never get to the next level. And so keeping Iris in the Bronx, the borough I adore, but the reality is it is just unfair. She did her time on a borough-wide level. She has the talents and skills now to move to a city-wide level. And I'm just so proud to play the role of bringing you to this level. And so congratulations, and thank you so much, Iris.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so very much, Mayor Adams. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be able to serve in this administration. You have given us the strength and the caring of your community, of your city. So I have been working with the Parks Department for over 35 years. And you have appointed absolutely amazing individuals here with your deputy mayor and your administration and everything. So I served in the Bronx with the 7,000 acres of parkland, being able to produce many parks and renovate many parks in the Bronx. For me, I have worked with a wonderful team, and when Commissioner Donoghue mentioned the 6,000 plus employees that we've had working in the system, these are individuals that are actually dedicated to the work that is done in terms of our green spaces. And as has been mentioned before, our green spaces are absolutely so valuable. They are the heart and blood of everything that we do in the city. And again, it was evident in the last 2 years. Many of these parks, of course, are the backyards of our communities. People that maybe also are not even able to afford to be able to go to other places, but actually come to our parks and play in our parks. And many of the programming, we've had many wonderful elected officials that have also been able to include programming as a part of the venues that we have in our parks. I am honored and privileged to work in this administration. I will always do all my utmost best to be able to serve my Commissioner Donoghue, Mayor Adams, and everyone here. So thank you all so very much. Continue to serve. Thank you.
We have a little bit of a musical chairs here. There's just no music. So next I'd like to introduce, I know an avid park user, newly elected Controller Brad Lander. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We are spending some more and more time at City Hall, but in the past, most of the time we spent together is in Prospect Park, so it's fitting that we're here today. Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here to celebrate the appointments of Sue Donoghue and Iris Rodriguez-Rosa at the Parks Department. I have been making it a practice not actually to comment on the appointments that the mayor has made, because it's our job to be independent and do the audits, but I had to make an exception for this one, because the work of Sue Donoghue, it's not just that Sue is a friend and neighbor, it's that the work that she and her team at the Prospect Park Alliance in partnership with Marty and the folks at Brooklyn Parks have done have just saved my life so many times over the past couple of years. I really can't count. I thought I was a lover of Prospect Park before the pandemic. I would have told you I knew every corner, and I didn't know the half of it and the number number of times over the past 2 years that is where I have found the strength to keep going, a little bit of ability to breathe, to imagine that there are better times coming. I just can't count it. The park is amazing, and we owe it to 150 years of stewardship from Olmsted and Vox and city leaders past. But the leadership that Sue has provided and the team there have provided have just been tremendous. It's been creative, it's preserved what's beautiful, and focused on equity. Sue and I was looking back at some old pictures. There's one of us inaugurating the new freeze-resistant drinking fountains, which so far I think are still only in Prospect Park, so maybe now they'll get to be spread all around the city. That's a feature of equity, because I tell you, there's winter running and winter dog walking and winter parks using all around the city, and having drinking fountains is a big, big difference. That was only possible because there was creativity and entrepreneurial spirit to say, let's try something new. Sue's helped preserve the most beautiful elements of the park. Please, if you haven't, go see the Endale Arch restoration, which just took an exquisite but over time, diminished feature and restored it to something that when you walk through it, you just like connected to history and feel a little taller when you walk through the city. And as the mayor said, the work Sue has done on the east side of the park, facing towards central Brooklyn, has really been tremendous. Go check out that new entrance that got created on the east side of the park that really says to folks in central Brooklyn, this is your park. You deserve the same quality and beauty and design, in a really powerful way. I do want to note here that is much of it due to Sue's great leadership. I also want to note the structure, which is the Prospect Park Alliance. We don't always find things in government that work. That is something that has worked to preserve the public, open, free, available to everyone nature of the park, while also tapping the energy for volunteering and contribution and stewardship in a way that I think is really tremendous, and I hope we can keep building on that and work with Chair Krishnan and the Parks Committee to think, how do we keep elevating that and making it something that all New Yorkers can share and treasure. There's a lot of them all throughout our whole park system. I don't only mean to talk about Prospect Park, but you can tell it's pretty special. There's a lot of amazing moments in it. If you've been at Celebrate Brooklyn or one of the concerts around our series, which we were so lucky to restore last summer and get to be together with our neighbors across lines of culture and neighborhood. There's the Brooklyn Philharmonic out in Long Meadow, and that one does go to all 5 boroughs. And I don't know if you've gotten to see these they have a program where young black girls, Mr. Mayor, compose classical symphony pieces that are just appreciated in a way that it's hard not to cry. But my favorite moment is the baseball parade day, when this set of kids who have been cooped up all winter long finally get to go on this parade, and we try to get them to come to the band shell to listen to some politician speeches. I still don't know really why we do that, but they just burst into the park with this kind of joy and energy that speaks to what is possible. And boy, as we were thinking about the recovery of our city, I just can't wait for that day this spring, and to know that that spirit will be carried forward into our parks in the years to come is really tremendous. So congratulations on a great appointment. Look forward to working with this new great leadership team.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce, and I look forward to working together closely with our new chair of the City Council Committee on Parks and Recreation. So he did pull the long straw? Yeah, you got the right straw, whichever one it was. Shekhar Krishnan, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. Deputy Mayor Joshi. I'm Shekhar Krishnan. I'm the council member from District 25 in Jackson Heights and Elmhurst, and the chair of Committee on Parks and Recreation. And I want to say a big, big congratulations to Commissioner Donoghue, to Deputy Commissioner Rodriguez-Rosa, too, on such a well-deserved pair of appointments on an issue that is so critical in our city. I want to say a big thank you to Mayor Adams for these excellent appointments, and also for framing the issue so aptly too, in terms of parks as an issue of equity. Coming from Jackson Heights and Elmhurst, we were the epicenter of the pandemic. we are also one of the council districts with the very least amount of park space and green space in all of New York City. So we saw firsthand in our communities how parks is a public health issue, with Elmhurst Hospital just a few blocks away. How parks is a mental health issue. How parks is a family justice issue. And I say that as a father of a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, knowing how crucial our green spaces are for our children and seniors alike. And how parks is a racial justice issue. Because the work ahead of us, as the mayor had said, is to address long-standing inequities when it comes to green space for immigrant communities and communities of color like my own and across our city. And so when we think about this issue, we think about investing and creating and expanding green spaces across our city to neighborhoods that already have them and to expanding them and increasing them in neighborhoods that don't. To making sure we are investing in our playgrounds across our city, including in our NYCHA housing too. And to make sure we think expansively about open space, including green space and also open streets, like our 34th Avenue open street in Jackson Heights, our model open street in our city. I know this is an issue that Commissioner Donoghue, in your work over the years as president of the Prospect Park Alliance, understands so well. And you come with many words of praise from colleagues like Councilman Rodriguez-Rosa, who has told me so much about you too. And I look forward to working together on this issue of equity. And Deputy Commissioner Rodriguez-Rosa, too, we spoke before about your work before as a tenant organizer in Williamsburg, which is where I got my start as a lawyer representing low-income tenants. So I know that you understand parks as an issue of housing justice, too, because where you live affects the access or lack of access to green space that we have and so desperately need. These are the issues I'm excited to work with you all on together for our city. I want to thank our controller, Brad Lander, too, who I know understands very well this notion of park justice and park equity. And a big, big thank you to our mayor for prioritizing green space at the forefront of his agenda and to making sure that we are addressing it in an equitable way across our city. Looking forward to working together, and congratulations again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You want to do on-topic questions?
On-topic first, and then folks are going to clear out, and we'll do off-topic afterwards. So let's start with Dana, on-topic.
Hi. So when de Blasio ran for mayor, he ran on the idea of redistributing money from wealthy parks conservancies to parks in poor neighborhoods. Do you have and that didn't really happen. Do you have a parks agenda that you're pursuing?
I'm going to turn it over to my experts, and they're going to come with a plan like we're doing with all of our commissioners on what's the best way of funding, procurement, how do we better utilize green spaces. And so that's the opportunities. They're going to hit the ground running, and they're going to come with a plan in the next few weeks. Eric, this is the best way we can get the best bang for our open spaces and green spaces.
Mr. Mayor, well, actually on the same question, I wonder what you personally think about park equity, and there's been a lot of talk about park equity from all the other speakers here today. You also have called for a peg across all different agencies, and I believe, if I have it correctly, during the campaign you promised to set aside 1% of the city's budget to go towards park. I think the city's budget is just under 1% right now, headed to parks. So where are you on that, and will the parks also be subject to that peg?
We're asking everyone to do a peg. We know that we are going through financial crises. After we have all of our agencies, which we are doing now with OMB, after we have all of our agencies come in with their pegs, vacancies, and doing a real smart analysis, then we will make a determination on if we're going to return or allow folks to have a waiver. But right now, everyone must follow this exercise because we have to be financially sound for not only this year, when we have a lot of the federal dollars that are still available, but next year, those dollars are not going to be here. And if we don't make smart decisions now, it's going to impact us later. And our goal is to have that 1% that you're talking about. OMB is speaking with me every day. If I don't speak with them every day, I tell them all the time, I'm worried. I want to speak with them every day so I can navigate us through this financial crisis that we're facing. So while we deal with these emergencies that are taking place, There's a permanent arm of my office that is focusing on making sure we're reaching our long-term goals, and those are one of those long-term goals.
This is for Commissioner Donoghue. Commissioner, last year it turned out that the Parks Department's definition of a motorized vehicle doesn't fit with the state definition of them, in the sense that they currently ban e-bikes of any kind, pedal assist, class 1, class 2, class 3, which people have found to be something that's an avenue to obviously racial discrimination and it's the baristas, and just the fact that you can't technically ride a city bike pedal assist through the park. Are you going to fix that policy and bring it in line with state law?
I am very much aware of the inconsistencies there and the concerns around pedal assist bikes in parks. It is something that I'm going to be working on from day one. My agenda in Prospect Park and my agenda citywide is going to be about safety in parks. And so how we navigate this and how we make sure that the park drives and all of the spaces in the park are safe for both pedestrians, cyclists, and e-bikes is going to be a priority. So yes, it's something I'm very much aware of and will be working on.
How are you going to work on it? Are you going to be allowed in parks?
I can't say that yet. I think I need to work with the team internally, and we'll put a task force together and figure it out.
Any other on-topics? Okay. We get
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you, brother.
Good afternoon, Mayor. How are
How
you?
are you? Good to see you.
Get a quiet in the back, please.
So I want to ask you about Rikers Island. Earlier this week, we learned that back in December, there were thousands of instances where detainees were not taken to medical appointments, and in 1,000 of those cases, it was because there wasn't a correction officer available to take them. So just wanted to know what's being done right now to address that situation, make sure that folks who are on Rikers are able to get to their medical appointments in a timely fashion.
Yes, as you stated, early December, I became mayor in January, and that's unacceptable because you are incarcerated, you should have your right for medical appointments. And I reached out to Commissioner Molina, and he is definitely moving to make sure that we have the rights of those inmates to get their medical appointments. And, you know, we went through a terrible period during COVID, even in December under the previous administration, because of the manpower issue. We are extremely happy that we have removed a lot of that backlog of manpower. We've been able to get the women officers back to Department of Correction, and so we're moving in the right direction, and I have a lot of confidence in Commissioner Molina.
Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Yes.
So there was a graduation earlier this week of correction officers, but it was less than what was hoped for. I think it was about 75. Is there plans in the process to get more boots on the ground?
A great question. And I've stated this over and over again with every agency. We first have to look, are we doing the job with what we have? Let's make sure we get all of these officers that are back, that are capable of coming back. Then we can do the right analysis. Right now, the way we were running these agencies is not spending taxpayers' dollars correctly. So let's get these officers back. Let's find out those who may have decided not to come back. We could do a proper analysis and get them back. I'm in alignment with the unions that we have to be properly staffed, and we have to make sure that we use our manpower correctly.
Okay, so Chris, then Donoghue.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor,
It's all of my press conferences.
you know what I'm getting at. There's a video out there from 2019 where you referred to white elected officers by what someone called racial slur. I guess I'm wondering, do you want to at all put those comments into context, apologize, or react to the other?
No, definitely apologize. Inappropriate comments should not have been used. Someone asking me a question using that comment and playing on that word, I responded in that comment. But clearly, it's a comment that should not be used, and I apologize not only to those who heard it, but to New Yorkers because they should expect more from me, and that was inappropriate.
You said that you were kicking their asses, is how you phrased it in the video. What did you mean by that?
My fight in the police department was fighting racism throughout my entire journey. And I was serious about fighting against that. And that is what it was attached to, the question that was asked. And that you got my response based on what that question was.
So, Donoghue?
Are you considering appointing former city council member Fernanda Cabrera to lead the Office of Community Mental Health? And if so, do you agree with statements made on same-sex marriage, abortion, and poverty?
No.
Any questions? Last one here.
Hi, I'm with the Fair Post. Today, DA Alvin Bragg reversed a key reform, and we wanted regarding felonies in terms of using a knife that be prosecuted at. Do you take credit for this, for his backpacking?
No, as I stated, I had several private conversations with DA Braggs. We talked. We have a great deal of respect for each other. And I gave my thoughts and positions, and he's a smart prosecutor, a former U.S. attorney, assistant U.S. attorney, and I believe he did an analysis and he came to a place that he understands we must operate as a partner in dealing with gun violence. And as you know, last week or this week, the days get mixed up, we met with all the DAs. And we walked out of that room stating that we are going to be partners in fighting crime, as well as sitting down with the U.S. attorneys this week, the Southern District and the Eastern District. I'm just really pleased that we're all moving as a team and saying that we must be on the same page in dealing with crime. Now, we're going to disagree on some methods or tactics, but for the most part, we know gun violence is a real problem and violent crimes are real problems.
So, Gloria, last one here.
Mr. Mayor, you've been talking about this over the last couple of days, the post-9/11-like response to gun violence. Post-9/11, that also created an incredible amount of illegal surveillance on certain communities, Muslim communities around the city, and it created this sense that people were being illegally watched and being looked at as being suspicious. I know you talked about this in the last couple of days, but how are you going to convince some of these communities that are being affected by gun violence that they are not going to get a similar kind of response where people are going to be constantly under surveillance, even if they haven't done anything wrong, and that they're living in a constant state of being watched?
And you're right, Gloria. We were in their mosque. It was disrespectful. We planted people in their stores, their organizations. It was incorrect. And if one would recall, I stood out in front of the federal penitentiary on 3rd Avenue and 30th Street and called for the release of those innocent children. We decimated Coney Island Avenue by going in the night, doing raids. The way we treated the Muslim communities after 9/11 was really not fair. And I sat down with many of my Muslim leadership from the Pakistani community, the Bangladeshi community, and other communities, and they have a full level of trust in me because I was an advocate stating that this is unfair what we're doing, and we're not going to return to those days where we treat people and profile them based on their religion or based on their lifestyle. And they trust me enough to get it right because I was there when we had it wrong. And we're not going to profile people, but we are going to use technology. And we are going to have this 9/11 type response. We stopped terrorism because we made up our minds that city, state, and federal agencies will have information sharing, and they will come together to deal with the flow of the threat, the international threat. We got to do that again. We have to stop the flow of guns. We have to deal with those who are the trigger pullers here and make sure we make our city safe. And that's what we're going to do.
That's it. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
park in Brooklyn Bridge Mall?
Least favorite part.
Least? Least favorite? I don't have any. I love all parks.